All right. So today we have 11.2. We get to talk about percents, and we are still going to use proportions. All right? Can I tell you my shortcut method right away?
Yes, please.
Okay, everyone, if you only remember one thing today, other than,
Is over because percent over 100.
there you go, okay? Other than that, God loves you and that I love you too, okay? Here we go. Remember, is over of equals percent over 100. Now, the next thing that's important to remember, of always stands for your total. Please write that in your notebooks, okay? And that is always talking about part of your total. So is always part, of is always your total. 100 will always stay the same. And sometimes you're given your percent. So, essentially today you're going to be given two pieces of your missing puzzle. We have to find the third. So right now, 85% should go where?
100%.
There you go, okay? And as long as you show your work, I'm okay with you guys using calculators today. And you scored 85% on the test of 60 questions. Is that of or is? Yeah, I hope you just look at the word right in front of it. Of. So that means we put what here? X. Cross multiply, just like we did yesterday. Yeah, okay? Now, because I'm letting you use your calculators, might not be a bad idea. Just, yeah, if you want to simplify it, it's nice and easy. Cool. Otherwise, can I get some help? What's 60 times 85?
51, 0, 0.
Okay, thank you. 5,100.
Yeah.
Then please don't use your calculator in the next step. Why?
Because it's 100 and you cross out your zeros and then you get 51.
Yeah. Divide both sides by 100, both sides by 100, and wow, that was tough. Now, what does 51 actually represent?
Your is your part.
Which means what?
It's 51. You got 51.
You got 51 right.
Yeah, you got 51 right. Now, it's always good to use your common sense. Now, some of you guys use common sense every day. Some of you don't think, I don't know if you have it or you don't use it or something. No, I'm just kidding. But for real, okay, we want to check, okay, 51 over 60, does that seem like it should be roughly 85%? Yeah, okay?
Yeah, it is.
If you do something wrong and you get like 5,280 and then you're like, oh, yeah, that sounds good, next question, okay? Like, check it just to see if it makes sense, okay? Kind of like Sass talking way too fast, okay? I'm like, slow down. Did everyone get this proportion down? Is over of equals percent over 100. That is the most important thing you can remember today. Okay, cool. I would like you guys to do the top and the bottom.
I didn't get any of that.
Is over of percent over 100. What were we doing? For 5 minutes? Holy buckets. Sorry. So once again, you can use your calculator, but I would always like to see the setup, you guys, okay? I would always like to see the setup. Because then when you get a crazy answer, you know, oh yeah, my setup was wrong.
It's over
Dylan, you willing to share what you got for your first setup? Give me a guess. 70. Okay, what always goes here? 100. Okay, that was tough. We given the is or the of? Are we given the is or the of number? Yeah, so where does that go? Perfect. Okay, and this should help you out. What is? It's asking what is. So we put an X there, okay? And then it says of 70. That should help us remember this. Okay, I just like to simplify that just to work with smaller numbers because then I can do this in my head. We have to cross multiply, so then Cody cross multiply means what again? Okay, so what is X times 10? Thank you, okay, and then we're going to put an equal sign. Please make sure you put an equal sign. And then 70 times 7 is what, Joe?
49. Or 400.
Thank you, okay? Don't use a calculator on this problem because what can we just do next?
Cross out the zeros and you'll have to 49.
Thank you.
I didn't cross out the zeros in the beginning, but I still got the same answer.
Oh, that's crazy. Crazy. Now, if you didn't have time to set this up, don't freak out, okay? What is it asking for again? The of or the is?
Is
Okay? Now, you should notice, okay? You should notice it's asking, it's saying that's 150%, right?
Yep.
150%. So we should have a number bigger or smaller
Big.
for a final? Yeah, okay? I always like to cross out the zeros. Then when we cross multiply, 15 times 2 is what?
30.
30, and then you just take on 2 zeros. That equals, please make sure you always set it equal when we cross multiply.
300%. Oh.
10x.
Divided by 10 and it's 300.
Very good. Then we divide both sides by 10. Thank you for
What
saying
do you
one step at a time. We're videoing, so asking random questions at random times.
Not a random question.
Okay? Well, asking questions at random times, right? When I'm trying to finish your problem is tough. Okay? Now I'm happy to answer. What's
How
up?
do you label it?
Well, what does this represent?
dollars,
What do you think this represents?
percent.
Dollars, because your percent always goes over the 100. We doing okay? Is over of. Percent over 100. Anytime you're given a percent, okay, it just goes here. 100 always goes there. Okay? Hey, use your keywords. Of. Everyone knows how to read. Of. It says that this number is the of. Set up the top one. Just the top one, okay? Let's see it. 26 is 40% of what number? Okay, and it might not be a bad idea. Okay, if you don't know what to do, just write this down first. That's like your roadmap today. It's your roadmap. Because then it's as easy as reading. 26 is. Is that our is number or of number or percent?
Is.
Yeah, it says 26 is. So we're going to put 26 there. Then it says 40%. Well, where does the 40 go?
On top.
Yeah, on the top of the 100. And then we can cross out those zeros. And then it says of what number? Question mark. So that means we're trying to solve for our, very good, of our of. So when we cross multiply, 26 times 10 is?
2600.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, I just crossed out a zero, so it'd be 260 equals 4x. Now you'll get the same answer if you didn't simplify. When we divide both sides by 4, we're going to get what?
26. 65.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I meant. What did I say?
Very good.
650.
Good job. Can you do me a favor and shut that door, Taylor? Because
Yeah.
the younger kids are going to be coming in. But any questions on this, you guys? Any questions at all? Because what my goal for you is today, back in the day, a lot of us just guessed on percent problems. You're like, I don't know where the numbers go, okay? We always have to know just our smaller part goes here, of goes here, and we're good to go. Okay, thank you. So we're not even going to do more, but we are going to go into some word problems. Now, here's my hint to you on word problems. What does is stand for?
Part.
Part, very good. What does your of stand for? Total. So right now, let's read this together. Anyone willing to read this out loud?
I will.
Okay, go for it.
You read in a magazine that an affordable rent is one that is no more than 30% of your salary. The apartment you want to rent is for $625 per month. At least what must your monthly salary be for you to afford this apartment?
Okay. So right now, I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to read this again, okay? Because I'll be honest, a lot of times I have to read a word problem like this like 2 or 3 times to understand how to set it up, okay? So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to read this again and see if we can understand, are we giving an is, are we giving an of, are we giving a percent, okay? Because everyone should always get this one right. That always goes there, okay. If you can set it up, yeah, great. Yeah. And thank you all for doing your best to see where these numbers go, okay? It's just going to help you in the near future. That's okay. So let's check this out, you guys. What's the easiest one to put in place for this one?
30%.
Yeah, 30%. We can just put that there, and I always like to just cross out those zeros then, because 3 over 10 is the same as 30 over 100. Very good. Now, when it says that your apartment is $625 per month, is that our total, or is that our part?
Total.
It is our part, and let me explain why. Because it says this, affordable rent is one that you do not spend over 30% of your salary. So this is saying part of your what? Salary. This better not be over 30% of your salary. Do you know what your salary is?
Yeah, how much rent?
Well, yeah, but do you know how much it is in this problem? No, so therefore we put the X down here because your salary has better be way bigger than this, right? If you put the number down here, you're saying this is your salary. And this isn't your salary, okay? So then when we cross multiply, and I know you guys all know how to cross multiply, okay? We go here, then we have 3x, and then to solve for x, we have to do what?
Right, it's 2,083.3.
2,083.3,
83.3.
repeating. Okay, what does this represent again, you guys?
About.
Yep, about, but
Oh.
dollars, okay? And let's just see what this is talking about again. You read in a magazine that affordable rent is one that is no more than 30% of your salary, okay? The apartment you want to rent is $625 per month. At least, what must you make monthly so you afford this apartment? Now, so our rent isn't over 30%. How much should we make, actually?
Divided by 30.
No.
2,083.
2,083. And how many cents? What is 0.3 repeating for cents?
30.
33.
Yes. So how much should we make?
34.
Yeah. This is how much we should make. Because if it was 33, that would actually be less than 0.3 repeating, correct? 0.3 is less than 0.3 repeating, okay? But once again, you guys, who has questions on this setup? Okay, let's keep going then. Let's check this one out. Should I change these colors?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Does it matter?
Yeah, change it to like yellow.
I think that's going to be worse. Yellow?
No, I meant the
Change it
words
to, like,
yellow.
Bright blue.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Bright blue.
Here we go. Hey, read the top, please. Read the top, please.
That's great.
I know. I can know my colors.
I didn't know you like asked.
Here we go. Please read the top, you guys. Please read the top. Who can explain what's going on in this one?
You want to see how much the average amount of time spent on different activities in a 24 in a day.
In a day, okay? Did you guys all get that? This whole circle represents a what? Day. Very good, okay? And if we do that, okay? If we do that, could we convert all of these into hours? Yeah. Right now, this is what I just want to test your knowledge. If we want to convert this into hours a day, set up that proportion. How do you convert how much time an average person spends on TV and technology per day? Because I know some of you guys are getting this, but some of you are just playing the guessing game. That's going to be a train wreck tonight. The easiest one to place should be our percent for this one, 9.5, okay? Anyone willing to share the only other number you know where to put?
100.
24 is the
How do you know 24 was our of?
because there's a total of 24 hours.
Yeah, okay, and we would just go like this. Now, so if we do TV technology, we could cross multiply. 100 times x is
100
100x. I need some help on this one. 9.5 times 24, 128.
228.
228, thank you. When we divide both sides by 100, don't use your calculator. Why?
Because it's 2.2
Yeah. So you'd say 2.28, what's that representing?
hours.
Hours. Does that make any sense?
About.
Huh?
How come it's about, not?
Well, because 2.28 hours is kind of weird because that's almost 2.3. But some people might think it's 2 hours and 28 minutes, which wouldn't be right. Does that make sense? Now, this is what I'd like you to answer. If you spend 1.5 hours on a homework yesterday, I want you to be able to tell me, is that about the same as the average up there? So say you spent 1.5 hours on homework yesterday. I want you, there are like 5 different ways you can solve this problem. I want you to be able to tell me, is that about the same as that average up there? More or less? Go for it. Please don't click. So if you spent 1.5 hours on homework yesterday, is that about the same as that national average? And like I said, there's like 5 different ways of getting this right. And actually, to be honest, all of you guys could solve it differently and get the right answer. We're going to go through it. We're going to go through it. Sorry. So one thing I want you guys to know, these are 2 different proportions. I hope you guys know that. If you did this, 1.5 over 24 equals 7.9 over 100. I'm sorry, that's not how we can solve this because it's 2 different ones. Does someone have one way that they solve this? Sass.
1.5 over 24 equals x over 100.
Yeah, okay. So just wait. Let me explain. Do you want to explain why you did that?
Because there's 24 hours in a day. They told you there's 1.5 hours of just doing homework.
Yeah. And so you just found out how much you actually spent.
You're trying to find the percent.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, and when we multiply this by 100, then we get 150 equals 24x. How would we solve for x? We would divide both sides by 24, and we would get,
6.25.
huh?
6.25. No, 6 point.
Yeah, that's what I said.
What would you guys say then to answer the question? A little less, yeah. Now, did anyone do a different way? Couldn't we figure out how many hours this would actually be? How would we do that, Cody? How could we figure out how many hours this would actually represent? Using is over of percent over 100. You can tell me at least one of those. Put what?
7.9 over.
Hey, great job. Now, here's my next question. Of this whole graph, what does that whole thing represent?
24 hours. Is it a whole day?
24 hours. And so we could solve it this way too. We could solve it this way too. And this would also show us that the national average would be higher than 1.5. Does that make sense? So those are two different ways you can solve it. What most people try to do is you try to smash it into one. No. You have to compare one to the other. But right here, this is a percent and this is the actual amount. So that's why we have to solve it one of these two ways. Okay? So then, to make sure you guys are getting this, because only about 3 people got this, if you slept 7 hours, 45 minutes last night, was this percent of time about the same or higher or lower than the national average? I'll give you guys some time to do this. So you slept 7 hours, 45 minutes, and here's my hint to you. What should you probably convert 7 hours, 45 minutes if you want to use that value? Into a decimal? Convert it into a decimal?
2.3, I 2 point. What did you say?
7.45.
No.
Oh,
It would be 7 divided by 45. It would be 24 divided by 7.45. Why?
You have to convert it both to minutes
what'd you
and
ask?
then.
Oh, 7 minutes
I'm
and
just gonna
45.
I'm going to give you a minute. I'm going to give you a minute to solve this. Okay? Here we go. There's 2 different ways. You don't have to, if you don't understand the 7 hours, 45 minutes into a fraction or a decimal, just do a different way. Yeah, that's a good setup. How are you doing for setup? Hey, great job. I love that. Great setup. Do you have one down, Dylan? That's a good setup.
Do you use anything with these numbers?
I did.
What are the nearest 100?
So almost everyone had this, okay? What does the whole thing represent again, you guys?
Is over equals to
Yeah, 24, right?
hours.
And if some of you guys decided to use this one, great job. What do we put it over?
100.
100. And we don't know what this represents in hours, do we?
No, it's
No, but we can figure it out, and that's what we're going to do by doing this. So we get 100x equals, I need some help on this one.
758.4.
Okay, awesome. Then what's our next step?
Divided by 100.
Divide by 100. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky, but I need you guys to just get your thinking caps on. You're smart enough for this. Okay?
7.58.
Now, this is approximately 7 and what?
7.
7.6.
Well, yeah. Well, but it's a little more than 7.5 hours. Correct?
Would it be almost be
It's a little over, okay? Because, okay, if this is 7.6, what's 0.6 of an hour?
7.25.
0.1.
Well, even just think of it like this. What's 1/10 of an hour?
10 minutes.
Tenth of an hour is 6 minutes, right?
Good to know. So that
That's
would
a
be
10th.
36 minutes.
Yeah. Do you guys see that? Do you guys see that? A tenth is 6 minutes. I mean, come on, 60 divided by 6, right? I mean, 60 divided by 10. But then, if we multiply this by 6, so that's about 7 hours and 36 minutes. A little less, right?
Yeah.
A little less.
I said almost.
And so if you slept this, right, you slept a little more or less than average?
You slept a little more.
A little more. Very good. Now, another setup that I saw someone do was you did 7 hours, 45 minutes as a decimal would be 775, right? 45 minutes is 3/4 of the way there. And you would also get the same answer. And I'm just not going to go through that.
X over 100.
Thank you. But you would get a percentage a little larger, right? Than what's up there. Correct? Because I think you did that this way. Okay. Question?
Yeah.
Okay.
About once you get the about 7.5 hours, I don't get what.
Okay, so I kind of crossed that out and actually made it 7.6.
Okay. Yeah,
And 0.6 doesn't really tell you anything other than it's a little over the half. Right?
How do you
So
know-
then I wanted to convert, and I was thinking, okay, what's the easiest way to convert fractions or decimals of an hour? And I was like, well, a tenth of anything is always really easy. So I figured out a tenth of, and you might want to write that in your notes because that's going to be helpful for tonight. A tenth of an hour is 6 minutes, right? So then if you get 7.8, then you just take 6 times 8 next time. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. Cool. Now, the last thing I want to go through, you guys, and just make sure that everyone understands, is what percent of the region is shaded green, what percent is shaded black? What is always the total?
100.
Yes, the total percent is always 100. So then I want you guys to know this. You find it by figuring out the area.
Can I tell
The
you
area of objects. Okay? So is over of
400.
equals
Yeah.
percent over 100.
Not all of them.
Now, of stands for what?
Stands for total.
Okay? How do we figure out the total area of this object?
This is the length
10
times width.
100 times 100.
10 times
100
32.
times 120.
20 times 32.
10 times.
20 times
How do you get 20?
32.
32.
32. Very good. And then you guys showed me this shortcut. You take your 0 down. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times. So your total goes down here, right? Our total goes down there. Now, if we figure out green, I'm trying to save you guys some time. We don't know what the percent is right now. What's the area of this guy?
64.
Why are you always getting all these
I don't know.
numbers? It's
Wouldn't it
length
be-
times
I'd say
width.
that. No, I
Wouldn't it
think
be
so.
10
10
times
times
just to
10?
say that if there's 1/3 of the whole thing?
You could do that, but it's not because that's a 12 in there.
That's just
It's a 12. So that's why we have to take a next step up.
Wait, are you taking the score, the area?
What's the side, you guys?
It's
10.
10.
What's the other side?
10.
10. What's the area of this?
100.
Thank you. Okay. What's the area of this?
100.
So what's your part of the green? 200. Did I lose anyone? Okay.
I got the 6
20.
Yeah.
10 plus 10 times 10, 10, and 12. 32. Okay? Then watch this. Okay? We can cross that out. 20 times 100 is 2,000. Thank you. Equals 64x. What do we have to do to both sides? Okay, and then I need some help.
Wait, what? Oh, never mind. Divided by what? 64?
Mhm.
31.25.
Now, this is the percent of the green. What would be the easiest way to figure out what percent is black?
Put that in for your part. Why?
What would be the easiest way?
Just do it.
How much is your total?
Subtract it.
From
6 640.
Yeah.
From 100.
Thank you. Your total area is 100. So you just subtract what this is from 100.
68.75.
So then you just label that. Now, I'm sorry I didn't have enough space to label that. But yeah, you just put percent of the green area, 31.25%. This one, you do your 68.5%. Okay? Now, any questions here?
No.
So find the area, know how to find the area.
Okay, why'd you do
Okay.
31.5?
I'll tell you that in a second, okay? But for your assignment tonight, we have a bunch of evens. It's not as long as it looks because it's only evens, and this will be due tomorrow. Cool.